Hey, everybody, welcome to another Rotary luncheon. We're so excited. Let's stand and let's see this first. Oh no, let's start with Rotary. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
Please join in prayer or meditation as I say, bless this food to our use and us to thy service. Amen. Amen.
Over here, looking for you. A little song this morning.
Can we sit down, Alan? Folks, if I sit down in the evening and I turn on the TV, which I'm beginning to become more reluctant to do, all the time, election campaigning and so on, and so what's full with the Olympics? The Olympics is full of controversy and all this. I'm kind of tired of that. So what can we sing in the Rotary to be a bit more uplifting? So turn to page 10, the middle song there. Home on the Range, a song that was written 50 years ago. The truths that are present in that song 50 years ago are even more important today. That third line, take me to the third line, where seldom is heard a discouraging word. Keep that in mind as you go to the news tonight, whatever. But right now, let's all join in singing this particular song. It's a real standard and it's known as the anthem of the West. Okay? Oh, yeah. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the sky above me all day. Oh, the rain. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Madam President.
I do want to go to the this morning, this afternoon. You're gonna hear from Bill Payne. We just lose a supporter of our club, and we have done a contribution for the funeral. We did send flowers. What would you like to talk about?
Yes, thank you. As we're meeting here, Roberta Romeo is sending Marshall off to that big coffee shop in the sky. Marshall was the first neighbor I met when we moved here about 18 years ago. Marshall and Roberta took us in when we had no place to go. We had been kicked out of probably the 7th place since I was a member. And Roberta gave us her day off because the restaurant was closed on Tuesdays. And she would work herself when she shouldn't be working. So I'd like us to have a moment of silence for Marshall and Roberta. Thank you.
Just an aside, not only did she take us in, but then when she kicked us out, she then fed us at the next place too, because she felt so bad about kicking us out, so. She evicted us from the coffee house and moved over to the Christian school, and she still catered for it at the Christian school. They're a fabulous family, so yes, I feel it's been a long journey. With that said, thank you for remembering that and reminding everyone of what's going on right now. That's why Joan is not here today. She's at service. There may be others here, so. I'm gonna do a reminder. We have cars still for sale for the Queen of Hearts. So if anybody has not purchased their car, you have time to still get your dollar bills into us. always a good cause for Rotary.
Will somebody pass the thing around?
Stanley, can I import you to, be my dealer? Dollar card. Dollar card, please. I love that. I just have a couple announcements, and we're gonna turn over to our speaker this morning. We were supposed to be distributing tickets for the raffling of the Dead Rise model. I don't think our tickets are here today. And Jim was not responsible for them, so I'm not.
No, it's not, but they might be coming.
They might be coming.
I've got the tickets at home.
You got the tickets at home.
Yes.
I said, if you meet me there, I'm gonna Walter's house. After this.
So at some point, Walter will be distributing all the tickets to every member for sale. So we will get those
You
distributed.
got $15 there.
On the,
Give her 5, give her
No.
and
a
come back.
couple other reminders, for
No,
next
no card?
Tuesday, not have a luncheon here. We have a dinner at the Bakery Club, at the Coach House specifically. It's for the board of directors, it starts at 4:45. For the club as a whole, you can start coming in around 5:15, have some beverages. And the dinner itself starts at 6. It is a joint dinner of all 3 clubs on the shore. I think our attendance right now is up to 55 people coming for the dinner. It'll be a great event. And we're going to hear from our district governor, Joy. The magic of joy is her motto, and she really does bring joy everywhere she goes. Joy Klein, sorry, I should say her whole name. So I'm looking forward to that. There are going to be a couple of surprises during the course of the dinner itself, so if you haven't signed up, let me know, because I might still be able to make a few adjustments to the attendance list. I had a couple more get added today, so I'm still gonna add in, so let me know. For the club members, it's free of charge, but it's part of your dues, I should say, but we're gonna pick up the residence. If you're bringing a guest, that is a cost of $47 a person that we will bill you for. And of course, the wine and beer is pay as you go. You're there, and always make sure you settle your bill before you leave next Tuesday evening. I'll double check it just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Are there any other announcements that anybody needs to make? School supplies, thank you, Bill. So if you still have school supplies, you'd like to
$15.
contribute, that's part of our ongoing efforts in partnership with Willie Randall through the Edward Jones Office of the Next Floor of the Washington School Supplies Servers. There's the box here. If you didn't bring any supplies but would like to help contribute towards that, I think Bill can convert your dollars into school supplies as well, so we can provide some funds for that purpose. So don't forget that, and it runs for, I think, 1 more week.
1 more week. So next week, we can run over because we're gonna have we won't have a meeting next week. 2 weeks from today, I will really put the pressure on. And I mean pressure.
Are there any other announcements I need to?
Money already.
Make sure we cover today. Last one, and then I'm gonna turn this over to hear from our speaker first, or we can do happy dollars. Okay, happy dollars. We do have a board meeting. It's the second Tuesday of every month. We have agreed to slightly adjust our board meeting. It will be at noon next week. And it's gonna be over at the Cape Charles Civic Center. Since again, we're not here for lunch, I've already let them know that we won't be here for this place next week, but we'll be over at the Civic Center. If any of you would like to join the board meeting, you can. I know you all are gonna be there. So exciting. Happy dollars. Jim,
I got 5 happy dollars. All my relatives have left. 3 weeks I had to put up, they're gone. Dog and I are in heaven.
that's excellent. Walter,
I got 5 happy dollars because last week, Randy and I went out and had lunch with Billy and Mary Jo Burton in their new digs. All is well.
nice. Yeah.
I have $5 happy, just got back yesterday. Down back 5 days for a family reunion, Scram and Bear family. In Gatlinburg, Tennessee. 30 people with
Ooh.
Thanks.
I have $5 because Jackie continues to improve physically, but she's rapidly going downhill emotionally.
I guess.
Yeah, but you know, she's always been downhill emotionally.
Is he back checks out the Zoom?
She's driving me crazy.
Is he back home now?
Oh, yeah, she's been back 2 weeks and,
Oh, nice.
and, you know how nutty she can be.
9 months ago, our son went in for a heart operation that was supposed to take him out of the picture for basically a week. It wasn't a major thing at the time. Well, 9 months later, this past Sunday, he preached his first sermon, 9 months. He's a great preacher. And so I just want to throw in that $5 don't really make a difference. Father put in $5 in celebration of my son being back in the faith.
Any other happy dollars?
I'm not ready to share my life.
You just get $5 happy dollars.
Oh my God. I did, okay, that's 5.
The door is gonna cost up $5 for you speaking, so.
You give $5?
I'm gonna hold up the hearts till the very end, but I would like to welcome our guest speaker today. I've got Julie Warner from Riverside Hospice here to speak with us today. I'm so excited. I've had the privilege of using Riverside Hospice, whether you call it a privilege or not. It was a privilege and a blessing for me and my family to have hospice be a part of my life and really help me through the most difficult time ever. So I am so excited to have you here and welcome. Thank you. And we're gonna bring you front and center to speak in front of our Zoom camera. Diane Dawson is on. So welcome, Diane.
Hey, Diane.
We're gonna give you the mic for chat. Everybody.
Well, ask Alan if he can.
I like the microphone. It's better.
Okay. Well, as you just heard, first of all, thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it. And as you just heard, my name is Julie and I'm the nurse clinical liaison for Riverside Home Health and Hospice. So both home health and hospice. And I'm here today because I want to make sure that as many people as possible utilize all.
Julie? Yeah, thank you.
Utilize all the benefits. I'm gonna start over. Utilize all of the benefits they've paid into all of their working lives. So I know for me, my personal goal is to stay in my home for as long as possible, to the very end, if that's what God wills. But the reality is that things get much harder as we get older. Even now in my 60s, there are things that I can't do, or at least certainly not with ease. I can't lift as much weight, I can't hear as well, many people can't drive, but I can't remember where I was going in the first place, so that doesn't really matter. So what do Medicare benefits cover? They cover a hospital stay minus a $1,550 deduction in Part A, and they cover 80% of your medical visits, which is your Part B. There are 1 million Medicare supplements out there that will often cover what Medicare will not. And there are Medicare HMOs like Humana that provide coverage much like any insurance company we have or had. while we were working. With these, there are gatekeepers who are gonna decide if you can go, where you can go, and for how long for your hospital stay. Just plain Medicare covers a skilled stay in a nursing facility, a rehab facility, if you will. After a 3-day, it's 3 overnights, hospitalization for up to 99 days if you are continuing to make progress. If you whine and then say, I'm not participating, out you go. The first 20 days are without a copay, days 29 through 99, there is a copay. And that depends on the facility as to how much that is. When you're looking at the Medicare supplements, there are so. You basically get what you pay for. If you buy Cadillac insurance, you get more. If you buy Dotson insurance, and I think we're all old enough to remember Dotsons, you also get what you pay for. There's long-term care insurance, which is available that will supplement much of what Medicare doesn't cover, but it's very expensive. And as I understand, one of my past lives, I was a case manager. There are many hoops that you have to jump through to access it. Searching through the various programs can be like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded, but there's help. And you have to do it every year because your Medicare plans change every single year, which I think is just horribly mean. There is an agency called VICAP, which is the Virginia Insurance Counseling and Assistance Program, which should not be confused with the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. Which can help you navigate that Medicare system free of charge. They can help with individual counseling on Medicare's Part A, B, and C, and Part D, which is the prescription plan, and also help in picking a Medigap plan. There are classes offered throughout the year, and they can help resolving Medicare claims or billing issues and assist with filing for Medicare-related benefits. They can also assist with Medicaid and long-term care insurance, as well as how to understand your eligibility and applications for low-income assistance programs. They can help you file for benefits, low-income subsidies, healthcare appeals and grievances. Working with you, they are able to help you pretty much figure the whole thing out. My appointment is in like 2 weeks. To speak with a trained counselor to ensure that you're getting the maximum out of your benefits, you contact the Eastern Shore Area on Aging, which is an Exmoor, via their website or by calling 1-800-452-5977, option 3, and then option 2. And it took me several times to figure out, it was kind of hidden in all of their options, but it's option 3 and 2. There's one woman and she's a trained volunteer rather than an insurance rep, so she really has no skin in the game. And is not trying to sell you Aetna or Humana or Blue Cross or any of the other ones, and should be able to give you a true answer about what is best for you. I will tell you they are somewhat difficult to get a hold of. Call around noon, you can generally get the person that's the assistant. I think the woman who actually is the person that does this name is Linda, but you can often get the assistant if you call around.
Linda Arvis.
Yes, she lives right behind me in the next neighborhood from me. I ran into her at a different health fair and I've kept her information, and so, as I said, I'm going to see her next week. So I retire in 6 weeks, but I'm not at all. Medicare does not cover someone to help around the house, to help you bathe every day, cook your meals, do your grocery shopping, or drive you to doctor's appointments. There are private duty agencies where you can hire someone to help with these things. I believe the current price is $16 to $17 an hour for people not hired through an agency And it's about 35 when you're hiring through private duty agency. And I will say, for the agencies, they don't necessarily so you think to yourself, well, I'm gonna go through the agency because if Betty Lou is sick, they'll send someone else. My neighbors go through this, so I can tell you that that is not always true. Medicare covers home health care, but there must be a skilled service like wound care, physical, speech therapy, medication, education. And this skilled care always has a limited time frame. Never remember which page I'm on. While you are having one of those skilled cares, Medicare will send an aide up to 3 times a week who will come in and help with the bath and make your bed. There's no meal preparation, no grocery shopping, or driving to doctor's appointment. The easiest way that I have found to think about what Medicare covers is to think about what commercial insurance covered for your children when you were working, or if you're still working. It didn't cover a cleaning lady, nor did it cover a babysitter. And when you're asking someone to come in and sit or help you bathe, then that's kind of sort of what you're doing. Another Medicare benefit that is often underutilized is the hospice benefit. Hospice is end-of-life care, which is a service that supports patients and families when an advanced illness cannot be cured. It is not a death sentence, and it is not a bad word. This service can be provided wherever the patient calls home, be that a home or a nursing home or a camper. I've even taken care of people in I just lost the word for it. But the place where the homeless go, what is that word?
Shelter.
Shelter. Thank you. Wordsmith is not my friend. But they can also see someone there if they have a standing bed. Studies show that that hospice can improve the quality of as well as the quantity of life, with some patients often living 29 days longer than those who did not choose hospice. It treats the symptoms of advanced illness for people in the last months, weeks, and days with the goal to make the most out of that time. It focuses on the patient, but also on the loved ones. Many years ago, I was a primary caregiver to a friend with an incurable disease. I don't know how many of you have been caregivers, but I can tell you from personal experience that it is exhausting, both physically and emotionally. When together we decided it was time to call hospice, it was the first time that anyone had asked me how I was doing, and I promptly burst into tears. He was in hospice care for about a month, and with 20/20 hindsight, we should have called a lot sooner. They are amazing with pain management and about understanding the disease process. They taught me how to best care for my friend, manage his pain, move him without hurting him or me, and it made the end of his life so much better, which made me better. It can help avoid emergency room visits and unscheduled hospital stays. It can keep your loved one home, comfortable at home, which is where most people want to be, which is where I want to be. If the patient changes their mind and decides they want to continue to try and cure their disease, or if they fall and break a hip, leaving hospice and going back to Medicare is as easy as signing a piece of paper. And then once the hip is repaired, if you so choose to go back to hospice, you simply re-enroll. I brought copies of advanced directives. And what I didn't bring was the hospice daisy, which is literally a daisy, and each petal shows all of the things that are available to patients with hospice. And it's really quite remarkable. There's a QR code on there that if you scan it with your phone, it will then explain what each one of those things is. So it's PT, physical therapy, 1 to 2 visits for looking at falls. Speech therapists can come out if there's difficulty swallowing. The CNAs are beyond exceptional. I've never seen women quite like the CNAs. They get letters written about them, which really never happens. People always give accolades to the nurse or the therapist. Nobody ever commends the CNAs, but these people do. The nurses are available 24/7, either on the phone or in person. And the assigned nurse will likely start with visits 1 to 2 times a week, and it increases as needed from there. Medical equipment can include a hospital bed, an over-the-bed table, a bedside commode. If something is needed to get the patient in and out of bed, it's available. So with just plain Medicare, in order to qualify for oxygen and have Medicare coverage, you have to have an oxygen level, which they check on your finger by checking the oxygenation in your blood below 89%. With hospice, it is simply available just for comfort without any cost at all. Medications, hospice covers all pain medications and hospice diagnosis related medications. The nurse will go through all of the patient's medications and what is covered. And aid can come out a few times a week, and this can increase as needed. Physical, occupational, and speech therapies are all available for a session or two. Alternative therapies, one thing available with Riverside Shore Hospice is virtual reality glasses. And at first I thought, well, that's just silly. But then someone at Walter Reed Hospital who was in hospice, she'd always wanted to go and see the opera. And so they queued up an opera and she was able to virtually go to the opera, which I think is pretty cool. It can be used for pain management as well. If there was something on your bucket list, they can probably find it in that vast internet out there. So if you wanted to bungee jump, you can feel like you're bungee jumping. Or if it's just, going fishing, they can make that happen, and I think that's actually pretty cool. Medical social workers, they're available to help with any issues that may arise, and help you navigate all the financial muddle that sort of comes with chronic illness. And another hospice benefit is respite care, where for up to 5 days a certification period, and the certification period is 90 days. The patient can go to a healthcare facility to provide much needed rest for the caregiver. There's a medical emergency or pain crisis, within the patient's stay in the hospital is available. There's also a chaplain available for the patients and family, as well as a bereavement counsel. Because really, once you get that terminal diagnosis, whether it's 2 years or 2 days, that grieving process starts when you first get that diagnosis for family and patient. We also have a number of volunteers who participate with the program in a lot of different ways. There's a gentleman who wants to only really just do outside chores for the family. And other people want to sit with the patient and chat or play cards or let Mrs. Jones go for a pedicure or whatever it is, which allows or even just to the grocery store. It allows the primary caregiver an opportunity to do whatever it is that they need to do. There are also volunteers who just want to help out in the office with clerical duties. So as you can see, there are many things available with hospice, and it's not a death sentence. Jimmy Carter has, I think 2 months ago now, celebrated his 1-year anniversary in hospice care. So when is the best time to start talking about these issues? The really best time to start talking about these things is when everybody's feeling well. Does everyone here have an advance directive? Well done, so do I. This document tells your loved ones, your doctor and hospital personnel what your wishes are in the event that you're not able to speak for yourself. Let's say you're hit by a meteor on your way home today and are then in a coma. If you can't breathe, do you want a feeding tube? It takes the burden off your loved ones at a time when they are already stressed to the max. And it ensures that you're cared for the way you want to be cared for. So as I brought I brought some advanced directives here for anyone that doesn't have one, and if anyone knows someone that could use one, feel free to take them. Along with naming the medical power of attorney, it covers the one that I use, which is 5 wishes. And that one is it's $5 to get a written copy and 15 for life to have to have it online, and then it's easily changeable. And there's a guide that helps introduce and navigate advanced care planning with your loved ones. What I did was I chose my medical power of attorney. I did not choose my family because it can actually get controversial, and actually, I think if I chose my sister, she'd probably pull the plug today. So, not married. But give some thought as to who you would want, and then make sure that they're willing to follow your wishes. I had assumed that my brother would follow my wishes, and it turns out he says, no, I'll just leave you, on a vet in some nursing home. Who knows, maybe they'll do something later, and that's not for me. So you really need to make sure that they're on the same page as you. Cause you don't wanna be in a ventilator for 20, I don't at least. So have a conversation. I chose mine, and then I sent a copy of my advanced directives to each one of my siblings so that there would be no surprises for them when the time comes. You can change your power of attorney in your living will at any time, 1,000 times if you want to. It simply requires 2 witnesses, does not need a notary. Doing this when you're relatively healthy makes the whole process much less scary. As I said, really my whole goal here was to simply make sure that everybody has all the necessary information. What you choose to do with it is completely up to you. If you are a member of any other groups that you think might be interested in having me speak within the next 6 weeks, please just let me know. You can call the home health and hospice office, and they'll get in touch with me. All right, thank you so much for your time. I very much appreciate it.
Questions.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Questions.
Yeah.
Somewhat related, are you aware of any past or current conversations in Richmond with regard to assisted suicide?
No, right now, the only place that I'm aware that you can do that here in this country is Oregon.
And there's some states up northeast, northeast, there's some states as well.
Well, then you know more than I do. I know my
Yeah,
uncle,
but Virginia isn't thinking that way.
not that I've heard as of yet. I know my uncle was planning to move to Oregon. He had pancreatic cancer, and he just didn't in time. But that was his plan.
I've heard many people, as you mentioned in your presentation, say we should have called hospice earlier, because they never say when this happened. So what should trigger this?
So in my perfect world, it's a conversation. So when Bob has just been given a diagnosis of congestive heart failure, and there's really nowhere, he's coming to the end. In my perfect world, it's really the doctor that has it's a very difficult thing, I think, for doctors to have that conversation, because they don't want, and no offense to you, but they don't want to be the bad guy. But personally, I would rather hear it there than from, I'd say, with us at Riverside, I would wager 80% or more are by the hospitalist or the emergency doctor. So it's a stranger, in essence, that's giving you that information. It's a whole mindset, I think of, that we're starting, the whole world is starting to get around. That's one of the reasons that I'm out here doing these things, is because I don't want people to think that as a dirty word or